Hey everyone, C-Stan here with Lord of the Rings Living Card Game, and another attempt to, I guess, break the game. There's a lot you can do with mono lore decks, especially with the Love of Tales card, which allows you to gain a resource every time you play a song. Since there's no limit on it, you can combine a couple decks using Love of Tales and really get a ton of resources and recycle events over and over again to, in a way, break the quest. I'm not going to reveal how I'm going to do it until I do. And I've loaded up the quest Journey to Roscabel for no particular reason. This combination should work on pretty much every quest. I chose Roscabel because it's frequently been an annoyance for me and I want to break it. So, let's start. Both players draw, and then the first player gets an extra card from Bilbo and another 2 cards from Barivor. And now we play Deep Knowledge, 2 threat, 2 cards, 2 threat, 2 cards, and player 2 plays Seeing Stone, 1 threat each, and grabs another Deep Knowledge, 2 threat each, 2 cards, 2 cards, and let's start playing down the Love of Tales. Let's see. We can play Song of Kings, and we gain 1 resource. We spend Pippin's resource, and then get 1 resource on each of them. Play down Sneak Attack Gandalf, draw 3 more. Mithrandir's Advice, 3 more. Deep Knowledge. Cards each, Seeing Stone, and Deep Knowledge for 3 threat. And 2 cards. Okay, we managed to get our 3rd Love of Tales. But I had a backup plan in case it was at the bottom of my deck. I was going to use Gandalf and Word of Command to get it. But that won't be needed. Okay, we can draw some more cards. Now we can play down some songs. Okay, we got Bifur all his spheres now. Can play some Songs of Eärendil and get a card for each of those. Another Song of Battle. Every time I play a song, I'm spending Pippin's resource and getting 1 resource on everybody, so that's why Pippin's doesn't change. Okay. How many? Okay, I've got 2. I'm going to use this, costs 1. I'm going to use it as a Deep Knowledge, and I'm also going to use this as a Deep Knowledge for another 1. So 2 Deep Knowledges on the bottom, and 4 threat each. 4 cards each. More songs, these are free songs, so everyone gets a resource. Alright. Yep, so I'm going to actually play word of command and search for the Horn of Gondor. There we go. And I'm going to play it. And I'm also going to play... Oh, no. Don't have Legacy of Durin yet, so I can't do that. Okay. I can get some more cards here. Draw 2. Oh, there it is. And I don't need... yeah, I don't need that. Alright. Okay, play Legacy of Durin for 1. Now I've got this combo set up. I can play Erebor Hammersmith for 2. People who watch my videos have seen this combo before. I get the topmost attachment back. And then I trigger Legacy of Durin because I just played a dwarf. And I can play Born Aloft, pull him back to my hand, get a resource from Horn of Gondor, and Born Aloft goes back. And I can keep doing that. So I play him for 2, get Born Aloft back, get a card from Legacy of Durin, play Born Aloft, and when I pull him back, I'll gain a resource because of Horn. So it's a net loss of 1 resource and a net gain of 1 card. So essentially I can spend I can convert resources into cards now. Right, got Seeing Stone for 1, and then I'm going to use it for Deep Knowledge, so I'm going to go ahead and give myself 3 threat each. And grab the Deep Knowledge that's here. And shuffle that up. 2 cards each. Alright. Okay. Now I got 16 cards left. I can get a few more. Draw 2. And I'll get rid of... yeah, I'll get rid of... yeah. Oh, no, this guy. And Seeing Stone, grab another Deep Knowledge. That'll cost me 3 threat each. 2 cards. 2 cards. Get 3 cards out of that one. And let's see, we can get another. Let's spend 1 resource. Use this as a Deep Knowledge. Two threat. 2 cards. 2 cards. Okay. Now what? Let's play down some more songs. Let's get some 1 song, 2 songs. 3 songs and a card. Alright, so 3 songs. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And actually I need to spend a spirit resource for that one, so it looks like we've got that. Alright. Okay, let's play down Born Aloft on Gandalf and pull him back. And we can we can play this free song, get everyone a resource. I want to draw those last 6 cards, so let me convert resources into cards. Actually, first let me pay 1, pull back this guy for another 1 resource and 3 cards. Deep Knowledge, up 2, draw 2, draw 2. Alright, got 2 cards left. Yeah, I'll just spend 2 resources to draw 2 cards using the Erebor thing. And I guess I should play down the last of my attachments. What else can I do? Like I say, Durin's already played. I guess I can play Hammersmith for 2 and get back this thing, which I'm actually going to play for 1 on my teammate just to help him out when it's his turn. Okay. Now that I've played all my attachments, I can end my my planning phase and play Desperate Alliance and pass over Biffer, who's got all the resources, all the spheres, and the attachments. I can pass them all to player 2, and now we switch to player 2. Alright, player 2 plays down their Love of Tales. I don't know if I have them all yet. Yep, I do. Alright. So we got all 4 Love of Tales out. We can start playing down some songs. Every time I play a song, I'm going to be spending Bilbo's resource. 1, 2, 3. Actually, every time I play a song, I'm gonna use Baravor's resource. 4 songs and a card. 5 songs. 6 songs. And draw 2. I still haven't given my resources for the 6 songs yet, but I'm keeping track of that. And let's see. Yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and give myself 6 resources here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these 2 guys get resources as well, because it's not limited to just the player that plays the song. Okay. What do we have in here? I want to draw some cards. Let's play our 2 free songs. Just to thin out our hands a bit. 1, 2. 1, 2. And we are running pretty low on card drawing effects, but what we can do is simply lower our threat by 6. And play we can use this. Thank you for that card, and we can use it as a deep knowledge. And the other player goes up to as well. But can't draw anything. Alright. And play it again. Player 2's at 40. Player 1's at 49 now. Okay, but we get yeah. Here we go. 2 cards. Finally, alright, we get 4 cards from that, because now we have 4 LotR heroes. 2 cards from this, and we can get rid of Will of the West. 9 more cards. 9 more cards, okay. We play this for free, because we got 4 heroes, and we use it as a Mithrandir's Advice. Which costs 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to play my Hammersmith now for 2. Get my last 2 cards. And pull back my scroll. Okay, my deck is drawn now. Good. Alright, so now we can put down Born Aloft, and with Born Aloft, the Hammersmith, the Horn, and Legacy of Durin, player 2 now has that combo that can convert resources into cards. Alright. Now, let me show you what I plan to do now that my deck is set up. It's going to rely on Out of the Wild, which allows you to search the top 5 cards of the encounter deck for 1 non-objective card worth no victory points and add it to the victory display. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to play this as much as possible. Every time I do, I remove a card from the encounter deck. And we can see maybe how many cards, we can actually remove them from the encounter deck with the setup that we have here, and whether or not it becomes really powerful or not. So Out of the Wild has Secrecy 2, so I'm going to reduce my threat down to under 20. And to do that, I have Galadrim's Greeting, which I can play 3 times. Actually, I think I already played it once. But the other player can play it 3 times. So this costs 9. And for this player it costs 6. And we've played 5, so how do we want to split them up? 5. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply 4 of them to this player, which will reduce my threat by 24. Yeah, by 24. So that puts us down to 22. And then for the 5th one that got played, I'm going to reduce both players' threat by 2. So 2 here and 2 here. That'll give us just enough turns to beat the quest, I think. And we can always play him again if we need to after Will of the West gets played. Okay. So now that we're in secrecy mode, we can start playing Out of the Wild. But first I want to put down the last of my songs, just to get as many resources as possible. There's 1, 2, and then we can play the event songs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These have effects. I guess we can just assume I'm always targeting Biffer with these effects. So now he's at like +6 willpower plus another 2 force, or a lot more willpower. Because every time a song gets played, he gets a resource, which increases the strength of Lay of Nimrodel. We're not really going to keep track. We're going to play this so many times that we can just assume Biffer has a whole lot of willpower. Okay, so 8 songs get played. So I want to do it there. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we can play Out of the Wild 3 times. It costs 1 resource each time. And I'm not going to go through the deck right now. I'm just going to keep track of how many times I've played it with little progress tokens on the Nightmare card here. So I played it 3 times. And they go in my discard pile, which I'm just going to keep here for convenience. And then we play Scroll of Isildur, which is free, because we've got 4 lore heroes. And we use it as an Out of the Wild, which costs 1. Oh, sorry. Goes in my discard, and then this goes on the bottom of my deck. And I do the same thing with these 2. Go in my discard pile. Spend them as Out of the Wilds, which costs 2, and they go in my deck. So I've played it 3 more times. Now what? Now I play Second Breakfast. 1, 2, 3 times, and I pull back the 3 scrolls into my hand. Now I can convert resources into cards. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And play them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And they go in the discard. And we've played it 3 more times. Now we can play our scrolls again as Out of the Wilds, which go back in the deck 3 more times. And then we can draw them by paying 3 resources, and playing them again by paying 3 resources 3 more times. Okay, now we are kind of locked, because we have no more cards that can get cards from the discard pile. In theory, you could include more cards. For example, the card White Council allows you to shuffle a card from your discard pile back into your deck. So we could recycle Scroll of Isildur back into our deck again. And also the newly released card, I think it's the Craftsman, the Sylvan ally that can remove the or shuffle the top card of your discard pile back into your deck. So we could also play that card, get Scroll of Isildur back again, which can provide another 2 uses of Out of the Wild. However, we need more resources to keep playing them, and that kind of relies on the event songs. Every time we shuffle our discard pile back into our deck with a Test of Will, or sorry, a Will of the West, we get those event songs back, which can generate more resources. Speaking of which, I can play this song, which gives everyone 1 resource. Alright, so now we can go back to player 1 and have him play Will of the West, which gets removed from the game, on to player 2. So I can shuffle my discard pile back into my deck. Alright, so I've got 30 cards here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 4 cards. Draw another 4 cards. And then use my combo to convert resources into cards. So I'm going to draw 5 more. And I'm going to draw 4 more. And yeah, I'm going to draw 13 more cards. So let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'm going to draw the last 13 cards. Okay. So now the situation is that I've got 3 cards in my discard pile, which are just Mithrandir's Advice, and all the other cards in my hand. And what I'm going to do is this time I do the combo, I'm going to keep track of how many resources I spend and how many times I play Out of the Wild, so that we can kind of see how much the entire loop costs. Alright, so I'm going to play first the songs to gain resources. And 1, 2, 3. Four, 5, 6, and then 3 of the free songs. So altogether, that gives me 6 resources here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3 resources on everyone. Here. 1, 2, 3. So that was 6, 12, 18, and then 21, 24, 27, 30. So that got me 30 resources for this player. So let me keep track of that on, I'll keep track of that here, I guess. So these aren't actually resources that I have, but the amount of resources I've gained so far. And of course, this player gains 9 on each. Okay. Now those go in the discard, and I play the combo down. So this will cost 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So my net gain of resources is only 27. And they go in the discard. Play these for free. As out of the wild. So that costs me 3 more. I draw them up, which costs 3. I play them, which costs 3 more. So that's 6 more resources. 3 more times. And then I can play second breakfast. Put these back in my hand, and then play them down. That costs me 3 resources for the second breakfast. And then I use the scrolls as out of the wilds. So that costs me 3 more. And I draw them up. Costs 3. Yep. Draw them up. Costs 3. And then play them down for another 3. And now they are all in the discard. Oh, sorry, I forgot to count those last 6. Okay, and they're all in the discard now. We can play Will of the West again. Shuffle all into deck. Now, let's see how many resources we have to spend drawing cards. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've spent 9 resources so far. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we're in negative net. 7, 8, 9. We still got 6 cards to go, so we're going to need some help from player 1, who plays Parting Gifts and gives 28 resources. Over to Biffer. Oops. There we go. So we need to draw 1, spend 2 resources, draw, and then spend 1 more resource to draw the last one. So that was another 3. So essentially, we're back at the same place we were before, but we have now 6 less resources in total on this side of the board. because I've been keeping track of all the resources we've gained or spent, all to get back to the same position with the 3 Mithrandir's Advice in the discard and all the cards in our hand. So basically, it's a net of 6 resources lost and a gain of 15 out of the wilds played. So I'm just going to do quickly every time we play Will of the West. And of course, I wasn't keeping track of the resources that this player gains. This player gains 9 resources on each hero every time Will of the West goes through, because I play 9 song events. So I'm just going to quickly, I'm not going to go through the whole loop again, but essentially we gain a loss of 3, 4, 5, 6 resources on this side, and we gain 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 resources on that side, and we get 15 out of the wilds played for the cost of 1 Will of the West. And we could do that several more times. So for another net loss of 6 on this side, and a net gain of 18 on this side, 7, 8, 9, for another Will of the West, and another 15. I was at 45, right? Yeah. Okay, so we've played Out of the Wild 60 times, and we've still got 2 Will of the West left. We don't really need them. The encounter deck only has 51 cards in it. So at this point, we removed all the cards from the encounter deck. All the, should I say, non-objective, non-victory point cards from the encounter deck. So how do we handle the last few cards? Well, I can go back to player 1, and we can play another Sneak Attack. Sneak Attack Gandalf. Deal 4 damage here, but he's not dead because he gets +1 hit point per player. So when we go into the quest phase, we can play Sneak Attack again. So yeah, let's move on to the quest phase. Or actually, first let's use all the Out of the Wilds that we played. So we've played 60 of them. We can essentially remove everything but objectives and victory point cards. And the only cards like that in here, so we have Ethelis, which we can't remove, and the only card worth victory points, I believe, is Hummerhorns. So this whole deck goes into the victory display except Ethelis and Hummerhorns. So to quickly do that, I'm going to move to secondary, all 51 cards. And putting them back in the deck, we get 1 Ethelis, 2 Ethelis, 3 Ethelis, 4 Ethelis, and Hummerhorns. Okay, so I forgot to do the setup here, but Williador should have 2 damage on him, and now we know exactly what the encounter deck looks like. It's just this, and we can start the quest phase. So Gandalf comes back. we can sneak attack again. Put Gandalf down, and we kill the Goblin Eagle Hunter. But before he leaves play, I think in this deck I put, none return, so that when he dies he'll go into the victory display, not the counter deck. So that's that. And the only person we have to quest is Biffer, because he now has something like 200 willpower, so that should be enough. Especially considering we know exactly what's coming out of the encounter deck. Let me just it doesn't matter when I do it, but I should probably reduce player 1's threat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just so that they don't get attacked by the Hummerhorns. So that's 18. So we got 29. And now we do the staging step. What do you know? So all these are guarded, so they trigger the next card. It's kind of like that. I don't think you can get an objective guarded by an objective. It has to be, I think, enemy location or treachery. So doesn't really matter. This is how it works out, and we obviously progress to the next stage. And when that happens, the next stage comes out. And I believe this becomes the active location. Yes, well, we can trample there. Now we claim our objectives. Actually, all these cards should be mine now. Desperate Alliance only lasts for one phase. So we can take control of the Aethelus cards. There's no engagement because he won't engage us, and then there's no combat, so we can go into the refresh phase. Gandalf is back in my hand, and we can start a new turn. All we're going to do here is probably play Lay of Nimmerdale on Brasil, so she's now got a lot of questing or willpower, and we all get a resource from that song, but I don't really want to keep track of that anymore. So then player 2 plays Gandalf for the round and kills the Hummerhorns. which go in the victory display. And Pippin can take this Aethelus, and Rossiel commits to the quest. Now, the encounter deck has no cards in it, and I'm not really sure what the rule is here, but I think you don't have to reveal anything. So, pretty easy to calculate that we'll succeed. We got around 40 willpower committed, and we only need 4 plus 12, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We complete that. Oh, and of course, LotR has 2 more damage, because he takes damage at the end of each round. Yep, and we complete that stage. This goes in the victory display as well. So now we've got 8 points in the victory display. And next stage of the quest comes out, and I believe we win, because LotR gets healed 5 wounds for each Aethelus we control, which is about 20, exactly 20. So LotR heals completely, and we win the game. So, you can see how that makes the quest a lot easier, with the Aethelus just showing up on the first turn, and never having to worry about an encounter card. That definitely makes this quest a lot more doable. Of course, this strategy works on a large number of quests, assuming you don't have like a ton of cards in the encounter deck that have victory points. You can basically remove them all, and maybe there's 2 or 3 cards that have victory points, but you can recycle Sneak Attack and Gandalf so many times that you can just kill all those enemies and they end up in the victory display. And then for the rest of the game you just don't have an encounter deck, and that makes the quest a lot easier for obvious reasons. So yeah, this is just a fun idea. Obviously kind of boring, because it removes half the game. But it just goes to show how powerful these Love of Tales combos can be. We were gaining, like across both players, we were gaining resources every time we shuffled our discard pile back into our deck. We were actually gaining net resources, even though we were playing 15 out of the wilds a turn, or around through the deck. So, there are other combos that Love of Tales work with. I just want to show this one off before Love of Tales gets an errata, if that's going to happen. Yeah, it only takes, even one player, it's super powerful, but two players, it just gets out of control, and it's pretty much unstoppable. There's another version of this combo where instead of Out of the Wild, you play Ravens of the Mountains, which is a card that can place progress directly on the quest, and you can play that over and over and essentially beat the quest in the first turn. It's a little trickier because every time you play Ravens of the Mountains, it requires you to exhaust a hero, so you also have to include something that you can recycle and refresh your heroes over and over again. Something like Mirivor would do that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little experiment, and look forward to putting out more videos in the future. But for now, thanks for watching and have a great day.